Raptors fall to the New York Knicks, 119-106. Welcome to Raptors Tonight, live from the Scotia Club inside Scotiabank Arena. I'm Randy Irvin, joined by Jack Armstrong, Leo Rautins, and Akil Augustine. First of all, guys, let's get to the real heart of the issue. How was the food here tonight? Your plate is empty.
It was good. Yeah. It was good.
I had a $50 burger, so I'm happy. Little budget.
Scotia Club, Real Sports, they both deliver high-end food.
They do.
Very happy.
See, there's a politician that wants to.
No, I mean, they're excellent. What more can I say? It's excellent.
Whether it's here, the keg, it doesn't matter. You're welcome everywhere. They don't turn Jack away.
All right, let's talk about the game. What
I like
happened?
your tie, Akil, by the way.
Thank you very much.
What is that?
Gucci.
Gookie. He's got a Gookie.
Yeah.
Really?
He bought it on the street in Canal Street in New York for $2.99. So
Don't ask to see the tag.
I wonder if you smell good. So what happened to that in that late run in the third quarter? You know, Scotty Barnes makes a three, kind of dances back. I'm like, okay, this could be the turning point of the game. But then the Knicks go on a run to kind of push it to 13. What did you see there, Jack?
I just thought the Knicks had more firepower tonight. I thought their bench was excellent. They, obviously DiVincenzo and Hart off the bench. I thought they played really hard on a back-to-back. Raptors' second unit the last 5 games has been pretty good.
Yeah.
Tonight they struggled. When they went into the kind of the transitional part of the game where you're mixing and matching starters and subs, they had issues. And I just thought tonight the Raptors had a bunch of droughts. They couldn't keep up, and one of those nights.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in New York, I thought, especially at the start of the third quarter, their defense was just locked down, right? And all the things we saw the other night for the Raptors, diving on the floor, offensive rebound, just scrapping, I didn't see that in this game. I saw that from New York, right? So, that's a concern, right? Because we're getting this.
Right.
Right, you want to try to get to that even playing at some point in time. But, when you look at the big difference in this game, I thought New York outworked the Raptors. And the droughts, those droughts, your guys got to step in on those droughts.
Yeah, yes.
Your main guys got to come to play in those droughts.
Yeah, so is it just a play at that point? Is it just a guy going one-on-one? Like, what would you say to your guys there?
No, but you're like Jack always, your dude? Your dude's got to get a bucket. Your key guy's got to find a way to score in those situations, right? You just can't, get these droughts where you're just searching for baskets and hoping, especially when the other team is starting.
Have you been a part of a team with that sort of up and down energy level output? Have you been on a team like that? And
yeah, and what happens is your best guy has got to pull you out of that.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And usually it got pulled out because Leo was the best player on the team. So
I got yanked out. Yeah. You suck.
Well, it's tough to win a game when the opponent makes 10 more threes than you, right? It's so effective. And I think one of the things that you got to give credit to the Knicks is they know who they are, right? When they're pounding on the inside, they know they're searching for that three-point line. They're fishing for their guards, right? They have a really strong identity and sense of how are we going to win games. And they know we're going to dominate the three-point line. There's a strict recipe for how they win games. And that just lends well to a team's identity as they move forward night to night. You bring your effort, you bring your lunch pail, you bring your hard hat, but then you also know where you want to hunt for shots at. And it's, of course, we got to get guys on the inside, and we kick it out, we spread it, and we shoot.
it's interesting. You look at Julius Randle. He averages over 5 assists a game. Mm-hmm. He's a big that knows how to pass. And look, he's a scorer. Yeah. He's going to get his every night.
Flirted with a triple-double.
But he's a guy that, he's a good passer. He reads defense as well. And the interesting thing, I mentioned this on the air, and I've never coached at the pro level, but been fortunate enough to broadcast at this level. But I think back when I was a college coach, you always wanted guys from programs that the high school coach was in charge. Mm-hmm. Guys were held accountable. They played hard. They played the right way. You could coach them and coach them hard. You look at having all those Villanova guys on this team, I'm telling you, that changes the dynamic of that room.
Yeah.
And Tom Thibodeau doesn't have to get after guys and poke them because these guys, it's habit. Yeah. It's there. Yeah. And I think that creates a different DNA in their room. And, those guys, those dudes are for real. Like Josh Hart, he no joke. Brunson, That's a man right there. He's not messing around. And DiVincenzo, he's one. And then they have the other kid, Ryan
Arcidiacono, another
they got 4 of them on
guy.
the team. Those guys.
That impacts the mentality.
Culture.
Yeah, and it's like we talked about it the other day with Draymond Green, right? Saying that I'd much rather have a guy that I got to say, hey, pull back a little bit, rein him in a little bit, and go, come on, I need you, right? And these Villanova guys are guys you don't have to push. I mean, these guys are well coached, they're disciplined, and they play hard.
Did you think Jaylen Brunson, Akil, was going to be this good?
I keep having to tell people, I took an L on the Jaylen Brunson call. I thought he was overpaid. I thought it was a stretch, a reach. I thought there were other guys that were available.
So did Dallas.
Yeah, I thought Donovan Mitchell would have been a better fit.
Yeah.
But now you look at what he's been able to do.
He's a better get than Donovan Mitchell.
Absolutely. It's paying dividends, and he's got gravity. You look at his body and the way he's able to initiate contact on the first defender, forces help. And again, back to the shot profile of the Knicks, they really want to create help situations, or even off of a rebound. You got a guy like Mitchell Robinson who's never looking for his own shot.
Kind of like Jakob Poeltl.
Yeah. And so if you're on the perimeter for the Knicks, you know whether it's Brunson, right, whether it's Randall, if they create a mismatch or an advantage, they're going to shoot the ball from 3. And that's a great asset to have in terms of identity.
And, you know, when you have a point guard who's shooting high 40s from 3, not just this year, last year, and he played in the shadow of probably the most ball-dominant guy in the league in Luka Doncic, who's a great player.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you're a spectator when you play with him. I think they were very confident. I had this discussion with Knicks president Leon Rose, and Leon represented, Brunson's father.
Yep.
And, Jaylen when he was a young player. He's known him since he was a baby. And they were really dialed into the fact that this kid had the makeup and the profile of a winner. And I think as good as Randall is, the great thing about Randall is the fact that he does pass. And the great thing for Brunson is that he has a bigger piece of the puzzle in New York than he does in Dallas.
Yeah.
And it's just boom.
Who's
it's
that other
exploded.
guy Dallas let go, gave up on? What was his name? Steve something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that guy.
Yeah. Gave up on him too.
I'm always so
That's a
impressed.
good point. That's a great point you bring up.
I'm always so impressed when Jaylen Brunson's not the biggest guy, he's not the fastest guy, but he's so tough.
He's tough. And creating Jack
separation.
mentioned his dad. I mean, his dad was a physical guard that survived in the NBA. He grinded, right? He's from Syracuse. I know him from back in the day when he came from Syracuse. But he gave his son a lot of tough love. I mean, you look at the stories, taking him out, working him out, because he knows what it's like to be an NBA guard.
Old school Knicks culture.
Could I just make one point? You just said that. It's interesting. Leo, I thought it was really cool tonight. You know how the players all have different coaches work them out before the game? Jaylen has his dad work him out. And, a lot of times, you coached your son.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, you were the head coach, obviously, but it's sometimes you try to let someone else, because you've been around them every day. It's interesting.
To that point, it's also how your kid responds to that.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes you let other guys do it because your kid kind of wants other guys to do it. But like I know, for example, I can only speak for my relationship with Andy. He wanted me doing it. Like he wanted that, right? And obviously Jaylen does too.
That's respect.
And I think sometimes, however that bond develops over the years, there's a connection, and you know that, hey, I know your game as well as anybody, and I can help you, but you trust that. So it's kind of cool to see that.
Yeah, I was thinking of you tonight when I watched that. I said, on the post-game show, I want to ask you that question.
Yeah.
Now you got to.
I did, but it was a great answer.
He's taking over for you.
No. I saw it. I was an observation. I said I thought that was really cool. I got to ask Leo about that at the post-game.
And you know what's cool? Anytime, I remember Jim Boeheim, coach's son at Syracuse, and when it was about to happen, I said, you know what, Coach? You've won a national championship. Don't listen to what all these people. Just enjoy it. I remember talking to Doc Rivers too when he coached his son Austin. I said, you know what, Doc? You've won a championship. Nobody can question whether you can coach or what you enjoy it.
Rare opportunity.
Rare opportunities.
Yeah.
I mean, if I look back, those are moments you cherish, right?
Scotty had a great game. Another one, Akil. Just what impressed you about the way he played? Obviously, he's getting the numbers again. But what are you seeing from him that you're liking?
Well, efficiency, right? You look at that fourth quarter against the Suns, it sparked him, and then he came out hot in the first half. I think he was, 7 for 8 in the first half. 10 straight games shooting a three. He's really found his spots. He's really found the places on the floor where he's efficient. And the one thing about Scotty is when he gets off, it takes nothing away from anyone else. And there's so many NBA superstars who, in order for them to get theirs, they really rely on massaging the ball, on maybe other people creating opportunities for them. But he's the ultimate flow guy. He gets it in the flow. You find him in the dunker so often, cutting without the ball. A great on-ball player, but a great cutter.
I want to bring this up because I experienced it at the back end. Leo experienced it the entire time. My first few years with the Raptors, Tracy McGrady had already been here for a little bit. And the 2 years he was here, in my first 2 years, were his last 2 years. Like, I saw the light starting to come on. You saw it from the beginning. I'm watching Scotty now, and I'm seeing that light coming on now where when Tracy McGrady left the Raptors, the back end of his last year with Vince, I was like, man, can we just keep these two kids together? Mm-hmm. This could be Jordan and Pippen.
Yeah.
I'm convinced back then if the Raptors hold on,
they regret leaving.
No.
Tracy talks about the fact that
if the Raptors, now the market wasn't as developed back then. I don't know if the market would have appreciated it back then as they would have now.
Accelerated it.
But it would have accelerated everything. There's no doubt the Raptors would have been in the NBA Finals a few times, at the very least, a number of Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing in Scotty what I saw at the back end of before Tracy left here. Leo?
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, the light's definitely gone on. He understands how hard you got to work. And when you look at leadership, right? When you look at, say, Pascal and OG and Scotty, who's the most vocal?
I was going to talk about this.
Who's the natural and not forced? Who's the natural energy guy?
Effervescent, effusive.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you, Akil.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Got the smiles, the whole bit. So, it makes a difference, right? And he brings that to the court. Mm-hmm. So he's naturally his own personality is coming out, and the confidence of the lights going on is all kind of coming together for him. Right?
Yeah, no slights on anybody else, but when you go into a game and you play with a guy who's just excited, right, and he brings that energy. He's excited for you when you make a great play. Super excited to engage with the opponent, talking a little bit of smack, standing up for his teammates, getting physical with guys. This is something that Scotty's done. People were critical of him in year 2, saying he lost a little bit of it, but
criticism
year 3
was over the top.
Yeah, year 3 he's come out and he's shown that in bushels and bounds, and it's amazing to see. And you just hope that rubs off on this group because I think that's something that's going to help them get some more consistency.
They need more of that.
Showing up, just showing up.
Him coming down down the lane.
So usually you shoot the lights out. This guy just shot the lights out.
Wow.
They're responding.
Hey, look, I've been in a few places later in the evening, and this is always the worst feeling when they raise the lights.
The music's off.
The music
Time to
gets
go home.
turned.
You mean when they find out who you've been talking to the whole night? Is that it?
Like, oh,
And they look at me and they go, really? I've been talking to you all night?
I think it's the other way around, Jack.
Does that ever happen to you, Akil?
Several times.
Oh, okay.
Every high school dance. That's Samantha dancing with?
Leo?
Hey, I don't go out much. Kind of a homebody.
Okay, all right, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, you can handle that. You can follow up to
Lights
that
are
one.
always dim in my place.
We got to throw the question back at Randy. Randy.
I don't go.
Most eligible bachelor in Toronto. Come on.
Well, he wears $100 cologne. He wears Hugo
You don't go out much?
cologne.
I don't go out
I don't
much.
believe that for a second.
I'm wearing Old Spice. My wife wants nothing to do with me.
I was in the elevator on the way here, and someone said, "Oh, who smells nice?" And then
Really?
another person was like, "Yeah, that does smell good."
Yeah, well.
Oh, to Jack.
Yeah. All right, we're 20 games in now, guys. Let's assess.
He skirted his own personal response.
Yeah.
No, I said I
He
don't
stirs
go
the
out
pot
much.
and
I
leaves the
said
room.
I don't go out much.
Sounds like a politician.
Just like Leo, we stay in a lot. We
Yeah,
stay
you
in a
I
lot.
don't believe it.
Yeah. Sometimes we go dancing. Okay. Just assess the 20-game mark now.
Well, it's kind of the proverbial quarter pole, 20 down, 62 to go. And, teams like to take it in those chunks. 9-11, they were 500 a year ago, 41-41. They're 9-11 right now. I still think it's there's a lot of stretches where they just go through droughts. Different coach, different system, but there's a lot of the same things that pop up in terms of just those droughts in particular, where they go through that 3, 4, 5 minute stretch. I said it on the air tonight. Look, he's not the best player on the Raptors, but you look at a guy like Jakob Poeltl, he might be the most consistent on the team.
You know what you're getting.
And that to me is something that I think that's what they're fighting right now, getting to that point where you can lock in and say, hey, I'm playing these 9 guys, and we're going to be consistent. This is what it's. And I still think Coach Darko's searching for answers.
Yeah. Akil, where are you at with it?
I honestly cannot make an assessment. I can say I don't know exactly who this Raptors team is because I see a different version of them from night to night, right? I mean, we've seen a team that beat a Milwaukee team, a Phoenix team, lost to a Chicago team that you really thought they shouldn't have lost to a Portland team. And wait, party started over here.
They don't make the caps of these coffee like they used to.
And I can honestly say on nights, I know that this is a team that can definitely be a playoff team, right? There are nights where I look at this team and I say, they're as competitive, or if not better than the Knicks.
That's okay.
I know they're better than the Cavs. I've seen those nights. And then I've seen other nights where I'm like, why can't they capture that lightning in a bottle and reproduce it? And I think that's the real calling card of a successful team is, to have that ability to perform a similar way from night to night. And that's not something that we've seen from this Raptors team. And hopefully, over the next 25 games, that kind of gets galvanized because then it's decision time.
Akil, you're looking good with the lights up. I'm just
I need the lights. It brings out the color in my eyes. Leo, your turn.
Fast 20 games, eh, Leo? It's been a fast 20 games. I don't know what's happened.
Okay. My concern is this. You've had, and it's early in the season, so you've got a new coach, and certainly he's got a time, right, on his side to figure this out, as far as how you judge what he's doing. But you've had 2 coaches with say your core, okay? You've had 2 coaches. You had an all-star guard, and now you're playing without that same all-star guard, but you're seeing the same things. The same things, different system. Different coach, but the same things are cropping up. So to me, that's a question you got to start looking. What's that? How many times you hear that saying in the NBA? You are who you are, right? So your main guys, your core guys, if that's a constant you see with your main guys. And again, Scotty may be the variable because he's growing.
Yeah,
he's growing. But your other main core, that's like you said, you're getting to the point where you got to make a decision.
Yeah.
Because either you're going to stay in this kind of a up and down, because you can't blame a coach if you have 2 different coaches. You can't blame, point guard that was here and a point guard that is here. You can't. So you got to start looking at your core, and I think that's one of the things that Masai and Bobby Webster have always done have been very patient. They let things play out.
Yeah.
They'll never rush to a decision on
play the long
player.
game.
Right. But you're getting to the point where that long game is long.
And the contracts are forcing you into that
exactly.
situation.
So you're going to have to make some decisions.
And I'll say this, I really, really think when you look at this team over the last few years, there's just not enough shooting.
100%.
And I'm not only talking about 3-point shooting, I'm just talking about skill. In terms of making free throws, making mid-range shots, like open shots.
Come playoff time, mid-range is important.
It just the shooting is that's something that they're going to have to really look at, and like in terms of the value per player on the roster, and you say, is that player bringing me enough to space the floor? Because look, if Scotty Barnes is going to become what we think he might have a chance of being, he's going to start seeing 2 defenders. Well, they better have a lot of shooting around him. If Pascal Siakam's going to be here and he's struggling like he is from 3, well, guess what? For him to get to the rim, the lane can't be condensed. The lane can't be packed. He's got to have driving lanes to get there. So you got to have shooters. And you look, so shooting to me is like you never have enough of it. And if a guy can do X, Y, Z, but he can't shoot, then I'm like, you know what? Good luck, X, Y, Z. I need shooting.
There's a lot in this league of taking athletes and trying to make them shooters. I think sometimes you just need shooters.
Yeah.
Right? You just need, and then try to make them athletes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you look at someone like
Listen.
J.J. Redick. J.J. Redick wasn't a great athlete.
He became
A really smart defensive player. That
Hey, is Brunson a great athlete?
No.
He's not that fast.
But they're smart.
He's
and
skilled.
They understand team defense. They understand effort. They understand all that stuff. So, like a shooter can't be on the floor to shoot if you can't guard.
yeah.
You're going to get destroyed.
Complementary pieces. That's what it's about. You look around the league at the better players.
It's interesting you say that, though. But, you reach a point, is the NBA is an offensive league.
Right.
First and
The
foremost.
NFL, you watch the NFL, you got to win games scoring points.
Every team's running the West Coast offense.
The rules favor offense.
Yep.
So as much skill and as much offense as you have out there, I've always been a big believer as a coach, you got to then figure out a defensive scheme to hide the fact
Right.
that I got guys that can't guard a lick, but guess what? We're going to score 120, so we're just going to try to make sure you get 119 and we don't give up 121. So that's schematically, you got to figure that out with whatever you do, but you got to be able to get to 120.
Okay.
Well, and you have enough athletes around your shooters.
Yeah.
So that's how you hide them.
Okay, pause that one for a bit. We have 2 minutes left in the show, so let's do one overtime question. LeBron James has said he's going to skip a Laker game if need be to watch his son Bronny play in his debut with USC. 2 minutes, go.
I say more power to him. I don't see the Lakers winning a championship this season, maybe an in-season tournament championship. And you're 21, man. Enjoy your kids, bro.
Look, we're in a world that obviously your wife has a child, and you miss the game to be there for the birth of your child. And we're in an era where the guy came out of high school, and he's got 20 kids that are going to college. We haven't had this dynamic many times in the league. So it's a hard one to touch and answer because we haven't had it a lot. But to me, I think it's one of those things where for a guy like LeBron, if there's ever a guy in the league that has earned the right to have that discussion with the franchise and say, look, if this was my wife giving birth to a child, would you be okay with this? I mean, I've been a good soldier. I've been a good representative of the league. I'd appreciate the same respect on this one. So it's an area we haven't really had this much.
I think the Lakers.
I don't know how to answer it. It's just different.
The Lakers need to be giving LeBron nights off anyways. He's on a minutes restriction, so this could help their plan anyway.
30 seconds, Leo. Your take.
I'm kind of in the middle on it.
Yeah.
LeBron has been outspoken about guys not playing or guys not showing up or guys not doing this. And
True.
Hey, it's I've missed a lot of I've missed a lot of games of my kids because I got a job.
Right.
I'm looking at I think the Raptors play in L.A. against the Lakers on January 9th.
So you're hoping that's the game?
Well, if Bronny, let's hold Bronny out till January 9th. LeBron, you're allowed to miss that game.
That's the one we'll let you get off the hook
Yeah.
with.
All right, next game for the Raptors is Wednesday, December 6th. against
Kyle
the Miami
Lowry
Heat.
comes back.
7:30 p.m. Eastern is the tip after the game. Come on by Real Sports. Be a part of the show. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Deuces.
Woo!